like I wouldn't mind. I've hired people to do stuff like that for me before. And actually I just hired someone else to do my um landing page because I just don't want to take the time to do it. So they can do it in 24 hours. Great. Um, time is money. So you got to hire people to get things done for you so you can be working on the more important things. All right. Um, all right. Okay. So now that we have our business formed, which we can literally do this in 24 to 48 hours, now the next step is to find some properties. Sorry guys. Okay, so pro tips, buy your domain. We talked about that. These are things that are going to make people say yes to you. You see everybody else struggling to like, I know so many people that are just like, I've been doing this Airbnb thing for a year. I haven't gotten one property up. I did get one property, and the person who trained me told me that I just needed to lie to the landlord and say, hey, um, I'm going to be living here. And they basically lied, and then they started renting it out through Airbnb. And then the landlord of the property got upset and basically, shut their whole business down. And no one has time for that. I don't like lying to people. First of all, I'm not a good liar, but I don't like lying to people. I'm really big on karma. So I'm not, especially when it comes to my business, integrity is everything. So I'm not lying to nobody about nothing. I'm going to figure out how to get these people to say yes to me and be very clear about what I'm doing. And the reason why they say yes to me is because the way my business is set up. They Google me, it's no games. Okay, this is what Tyler's Properties does. I believe them because I can search it. It's simple. I feel like I can trust them. They present themselves well, right? If I have none of these things, they're gonna think I'm a joke, right? Um, Creating your plan when you're presenting to the landlord. We're going to go over that in a second. And create business email and business phone number. We talked about that already. And then knowing your niche. Who is your niche? So I mentioned before the nurses, traveling nurses is a really good niche. Young professionals, really good niche. I would stay away from party goers unless you own your property. Like, let's be realistic. Most people, when they go on vacation, when they're renting out these Airbnbs, they're going to have some kind of partying going on. But that's why you vet them before you let them rent your space. But to intentionally target a group of like party goers, if it's not your own house, I would stay away from it. You're going to scare the landlords, especially the luxurious apartment complexes, away because they don't want their property to be ruined. Okay. So that is something to consider. Okay. So now our next step is how to acquire corporate leases. Give me a second. Let me make sure I'm up to date on my notes. Okay. So how to acquire corporate leases. So I'm gonna give you the step-by-step process and then we'll kind of break this down. So one, you want to find your property. Like I said before, you want to find your property on Facebook, Craigslist, apartments.com, Zillow, Trulia, any of these places. Once you found a place that you like, now you want to run the numbers and compare it with other units. So now we're going to go into AirDNA. Now we see how much the rent is. Well, now we have to break that down. What do I need to make a profit? In order to make a profit, basically the formula is you take your rents, and this is going to be on another slide too, but I'm going to talk about it now. You're going to take your rent, you're going to divide that rent by 30 days. That's going to give you your daily rate just so that you could pay your rent. That doesn't even include paying the percentages you need to pay for your property management and your co-host to have your Airbnb business on autopilot. It's just to break even. What I typically like to do is you take that daily rate and you multiply it by 3. That's the max. So that means that you're going to pay your rent, you're going to have money to pay your staff, and then you're still going to make at least what the rent is by multiplying this daily rate by 3. That's how much you would charge on the high end. When you go into AirDNA to do your research and you see, okay, I'm after my formula is saying for me to charge $180, but in this area, the max I see is 150, then you know 180 might be too far fetched. Maybe you can only do that price when there's something going on, significant going on in your area at that time. So 150 is still definitely more than that rate, the daily rate, after you took the rent and divided that by 30. So 150 is more than that. So it's still profitable. But if you multiply it by 3, that's a really good margin. But again, just make sure the numbers make sense and it's comparable to what you have going on Airbnb. Honestly, your first 10 bookings, I would have them on the lower side. You probably won't make that much money in the beginning, but it's fine. Remember, we're running a business. It's a new business. Businesses don't really start making money for a few years. And Airbnb, that's not the case. You're going to make money in a few months, but you want to become a super host. So by becoming super host, your first like 10 or so bookings, to get 10 bookings really fast in the first 30 days of you opening up your account and listing your first listing, kind of be on the lower end of things. So that way you can just cover rent and pay everybody. Because once you have that super host stamp, people are gonna want to book you first before anybody else. It's like the seal that you need. I'm almost at super host. Again, it's only been 30 days for me. But I also lost a lot of window of opportunity because my mind was doing so many other things. So that's my advice. Become super host by pricing yourself slightly low. And then once you become super host, then do the formula of being the rent divided by 30 times 3 so that you can be on the little bit higher end of things. People will pay you once you have that super host tag on your profile. So we've crunched the numbers. We found a rent that we can afford. We found an area where it's hustling and bustling, moving and shaking. So now step 3 is to schedule a meeting or send an email using the script. The script, which I'm going to give you guys a copy to, the generalized script is something like this. Hi, my name is Tyler. I own a company called Tyler Property Management. We provide short-term housing for professionals who are on the move, who work city to city in their corporate positions. We would love to host our customers in your luxurious apartment because it really fits the needs of our high scale clientele. Do you guys provide corporate leases? They're going to email you back. They're going to say yes or no. Assuming they say, sorry, no, we don't do that, right? Then I would call them. You could always send another email, but I would call them once because now you have the contact, right? You have Kayla from Lux Apartment Complexes, and she says, sorry, we don't provide corporate leases. So then you'll call her and you'll say, hey, Kayla, my name's Tyler. I spoke with you via email. Thank you so much for your prompt response. I wanted to get on the phone with you because I'm understanding that you're telling me no, you guys don't accept corporate leases. Can you just let me know why? And she'll just say, I asked my boss and they said that we don't do that. We don't do short-term leasing. And then because that's like the worst they're going to say is no, we don't do short-term leasing. You definitely don't want to say the word Airbnb because Airbnb is scary to people. They associate that with party and damage. But if you say something like short-term leasing with your luxury apartments for our upscale clientele, that's softer, right? So when she says no, because my leasing office, my manager said no, you'll say, okay, well, my thought is I'm an actual business. You can Google us and take a look at our website if you haven't. But we have experience in this area, in this field, and we have made a reputation for the kind of clientele that we have. it would be an asset to have our business take on some of your leases because we're a business. We're going to be able to pay your rent. Whereas when you're just leasing to regular people, people can be late on rent, they can be short on rent, and it could be more of a hassle. And you guys have been around for some years. So I know there have been instances where it was probably a little bit frustrating because you guys weren't able to collect your rent on time. Well, with my business, you're not going to have that problem because we are a big corporation. They're not going to research you to find if you're an actual big corporation. Seeing your email address, seeing the way your business represents itself online is enough. They're going to say, okay, these are beautiful pictures. You know what? That's a good point. Maybe we can rent to you because you're a business and not a customer that has personal issues that's preventing them from paying their rent on time. And it's something for them to think about. And they're going to probably more than likely say, you know what, that's a good perspective. Let me bring this to my manager and see what they say. Um, and then you just tell them, with the corporate lease, I'm just looking for a 3 or 6 month lease. I'm not looking because where our clientele is on the move. So they'll be in another area at another time. So I just need a very short lease. And because it's through a business, they're going to give you a short lease. You don't want to be locked into a 12-month lease anyways, unless there's flexibility there. So if they say yes, then, or if they say, you know what, I'm still not really sure, the next thing you can kind of hit them with as a rebuttal would be, hey, the next thing that you would use as a rebuttal, hey, Maya, would be us. So the other thing is a part of us providing high standards to our staff and to the people that lease to our business is we provide professional cleaning in between our stays, which means your carpet and everything's going to be in tip-top shape because we pay professional cleaners to come and clean in between each stay. They're going to love that. They're going to say, oh my goodness, all right. So you provide these luxury stays to people. You have a certain kind of clientele. So you're going to be moving around anyways. And you provide professional cleaning in between. We're going to say yes to you. If they hit you with things like, oh, well, I don't know, because with short-term rentals, we get a lot of complaints about the noise control. You would ease their mind by saying, no worries. In all of our units, we put a noise monitor, which is going to ping us every time the noise reaches a certain level, a level that's lower than what, any of the neighbors are going to even hear, because we're going to try to catch this before it becomes an issue. So with these monitors, we have a way of not hearing what they're saying, but monitoring how high the music may be, or if there's a lot of people in the unit, and we're able to communicate with our the people staying in our apartments to say, hey, the noise monitor is going off. We want to make sure we keep a very professional environment. Can you please keep the noise down? So we're going to figure that out before it even becomes a problem. They're going to love that. You're going to buy these noise monitors from Amazon. They're a couple of dollars. You'll ship them off to the unit if they're not nearby, and you just have the co-host install them into the facility. Okay. So those are usually the main concerns: the cleaning, the noise, and just the in and out. But again, when they look you up, you're already on point. So you've already set yourself up to look a certain way. So they're going to say yes. Now, for the people who've done Airbnb who lied and said, oh, I'm just going to move in, that means they were doing business under their personal name, giving them all the liability and not their LLC. And they just didn't represent themselves because when they lied, we're not doing that. Okay, guys. So that's why it's really important to just look a certain way. So that way, you just get an easy yes. Super simple. And then step 4, pitch the landlord and apply for the corporate lease. That was the whole process that I gave you in steps 3 and 4. So again, a quick little blurb for the script is present what makes you the